recently picked up. Used to be on Team Starcraft Ascension, but we're going to hop into the map intro here as we get into the game, so see you in a second. Alright, Scene doesn't want to swap. There we go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Back in the action. We got pucK versus YuMe coming up here. For those who don't know, YuMe is a Grandmaster Terran player. He's definitely the lesser known of the two, so I'm going to give him a bit of an introduction here. So spotted here in the lower right corner of the map, playing for Team quantum Gaming, the Quantum Academy, it is the orange Terran player, YuMe.
In the upper left-hand corner of Acheron Waste, he took down the first match in this series, giving his team, Tfarcrats, a 1-0 lead. From Root, he is pucK.
Now, of course, one of the big things here, again, YuMe, Grandmaster Terran player. We'll see if that matters or not. We got a little bit of some friendly banter going on here in the early game. This is a much more evenly matched set, I think, Doom, than the previous one.
Yeah, you know, Grandmaster versus Grandmaster, PvT matchup. The map itself is definitely going to favor YuMe. I believe the TVP is much more favorable for the Terran player when they're, you know, matched up on Acheron Waste. It's not the biggest map in the map pool. Of course, only being, you know, single spawns across from each other. It's going to open up more opportunities for the Terran player to do things like drops and make very concerted pushes towards the expansions of the Pro Tiles.
Yeah, drops are definitely a viable option. You got a lot of dead space in that main base that Terran players love to take advantage of, but on the other hand, pucK is someone who utilizes Blink Stalkers better than most Pro Tiles players I know, and Blink Stalkers are just as good on this map, especially if you decide to go for some sort of early all-in.
True, even to a defensive measure here, Blink Stalkers can do a great job at deflecting any type of drops, and if you can get an observer up about the high ground of your opponent's base, you can just blink in.
Well, not even observers anymore, man. Like, let's not forget, the Mothership Core, so good and so early.
Absolutely, and we didn't really see the Mothership Core come into a factor in the last match. In PvZ, we really do see a lot of time warps used, but they're very effective in PvT as well. If you're able to slow down groups of Marines, pick them off as they're retreating with your Stalkers, you just put yourself in such a great advantage in the early game.
Well, one thing I'm really curious about here from YuMe is he's actually gone for the reactor a little bit quicker, so not even going to pop out those Reapers. Reaper's something very common in most games, most matchups of TVP, but not in this map, because there's that ugly-ass choke at the natural that makes them very hard to get into the main. You can, of course, jump up one level of terrain, but not two, so you can't abuse the terrain the same way Blink Stalkers say could.
And we're seeing pucK going for both of his gases in the main base so far, not doing any type of early expansion play, but he's going to use that reactor for 2 Reapers.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I thought he was just going to pump Marines. There's this really cool timing build that's very common right now in TVP, where you get the engineering bay up quick, you get an early reactor, and you just pump a lot of Marines to go for the +1 push, sacrificing stim, but instead having that extra damage. And in doing so, you take down your opponent's natural base, but okay, Reapers, this is going to be interesting, because Reapers, they trade cost effectively versus everything on the ground. But as we see here, we already have that Mothership Core on the field, so it's going to have no problem dealing with those Reapers.
Yeah, he's going to try to force it anyway. His first 2 Reapers are on the map. He's going to follow it up with 2 Marines immediately, and he's actually dropping down a command center on the high ground. So YuMe's going to try to use this to expand and try to take this game into the mid stages, we're going to have to say here. Factory's going to follow that immediately as well. So it won't be shocked to see Widow Mines come out in the field, but pucK's going to go for a robotics bay, or a robotics facility right off the bat here, and that's going to enable him to get observers out and to be very keen and aware of any type of Widow Mine style play. But the Reapers are going to jump into the main base here, see if they can actually get any damage done. Actually taking a lot of damage and going to evacuate on out of there.
But they live.
Expansion, though.
Yeah, they live, and that's the key thing, because you can always heal up with those combat drugs, go back, if not for another scout, another round of attacking harass. I mean, it's not a lot, but sometimes picking off a probe or 2 can really change the course of a game.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's going to be able to have some semblance of map control in this situation. We'll be able to see if there's any type of pylons that are going around the field. Take these watchtowers to see if there's any stray units that are being shady around the map, you know. You don't want those guys hanging around. It's not a good look to have be a Terran patrol Reaper and allow things like probes to building proxy stargates with oracles coming out of them or something.
You know, that standard 6-minute proxy, right?
Yeah.
But no, he scouts the expansion. This is kind of cool. The big question for YuMe is, what does he do to go with this? Like, we see him massing a lot of units on the ground. He's not going to have that +1 timing I was mentioning before, but he can hit before his opponent has units on the field. And if there's one thing you can do effectively versus Protoss in the early game, it's pull SCVs. If you pull your SCVs and there's no Colossus, no Storms, no Archons on the field to deal with them, they're actually kind of very difficult to deal with, and a lot of Protoss players will reciprocate that.
Yeah, well, you know what we actually do have here is pucK's going for double Immortals real quick.
Yeah,
that is crazy fast.
What's interesting, because Immortals, while they don't have any bonus damage versus light units like Marines or Hellions, they still have a lot of damage and they pack a punch. They will absolutely kill any Marauders, but oh, we get the Warp Prism coming out. I should have known better. This is pucK. If there's one thing pucK loves doing TVP when he's allowed to, it's to go for the Warp Prism harass. There's nothing that can really catch that Warp Prism if it's not stuck in transform mode, because Vikings now, even with the new, or especially with the new speed buff to the Warp Prisms, can't actually catch a Warp Prism anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, pucK's literally got 3 other units out on the field. That Stalker, that Sentry, and the Mothership Core. So this is going to be a very concerted attack, but there's some Hellions sneaking across the map.
Yeah, if he drops in the main, grabs the attention of pucK, those Hellions will run right into the natural and accumulate a lot of probe kills. Oh, and that Warp Prism moving out at the worst timing ever. Marines dropping here in the main. This start, well, shelled away quite a few probes, actually. Hellions now in the natural, too. Big fire, big hits.
Oh, YuMe going both directions here.
Oh my god, he's getting a lot.
One direction, another.
He's getting so many probe kills here. 15, 16, and rising. He's still got the natural still underway. Yeah, the Hellions are not done yet. There's 1 probe left for them to kill, but 18 kills. A really nice early advantage here for YuMe. 20 kills even. Wow, in the end of all that. Looks like the medevac and the Marines are cleaned up at Doom. This is this is not looking too good for pucK right off the bat here. But the Immortals are now in the base of YuMe.
This is quite the mechanical barbecue, but yeah, Immortals are doing some work, and it looks like some SCVs are going to fall here. It's going to prevent the barracks from going down, and these Marines really just coming up to their death. Medevac's not going to be able to heal them quick enough for the Immortal Fire, and
where's the SCV
situation
here?
Oh,
look at that pick up there. He's going to try to keep them alive as long as possible. Of course, he can just, evacuate, regenerate those Hardened Shields. Hardened Shields, of course, not really that big of a deal against these units. They don't come into play unless the unit does more than 10 damage. You know what, he didn't kill a lot of SCVs, but look, he killed them once building the extra production. Those barracks are not complete. That command center is not complete, and a Viking is going to desperately try and chase down that Warp Prism.
That's a good call from YuMe there, man. To make that Viking force that out. Without that Viking, he would be in a tough spot with those Immortals' accessibility of that command center from the low ground.
Yeah, pucK's a chance for the Warp Prism. He's got some units across the field now. He might be looking to follow this up, and YuMe only just now getting barracks down. This could be rough.
He's dropping 2 tech labs as well, so that indicates that he wants to go for a heavy Marauder composition.
Oh man, he's got to be so careful.
Marines.
Here comes the SCV pull. This is what he needed to do earlier. You're going to chase him out of the base. No, actually, just reeling back. Going to rebuild those bunkers. Of course, that pesky Observer there, man.
Oh, that Observer is providing pretty good vision here for pucK, and man, with the Immortals with their full shields, this is turning into a very scary situation for YuMe. He's got to be very, very careful not to send those SCVs back too early.
Yeah, the weird irony is here, while there's no Marauders to kill, there's also no Marauders to kill the Immortals, so they're kind of in a good position to just be good neutral units. The Stalker range is going to be a huge effect. Not even a cancel on that bunker, just decimated.
Yeah, and Stim was just started, so no Stim here from YuMe available to him. He's got 2 more barracks that are about to finish up, and he's got +1 about halfway done, so, I mean, nothing's really lining up for him to really defend against this as effective as he can, but...
Good scan picks off that Observer about darn time, YuMe. It's been floating above you forever, man.
These SCVs aren't mining, so this is somewhat of a victory here for pucK if we're looking at the income.
Well, look at the bottom of the screen here. pucK with a massive lead. He's only on 2 bases though. Like, honestly, I would have assumed he would have tried to expand while keeping a soft contain on our Terran player, but I guess a little too dedicated to that attack.
Yeah, losing 18 probes will put you in that position for sure. I mean, right off the bat there.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to overcome, but he's done some good moves here, buying a little bit of time. It's 47-38, but yeah.
Warp Prism round 2 coming up here. Gonna unload Stalkers here to the main. Gonna get a couple of SCVs. Has to be careful though. There are some Marauders on the field now, and of course Marauders are really good at taking care of Stalkers.
Just a little bit. But it does look like YuMe has put those SCVs back on mining. He does have a slight advantage in terms of the overall economy, but pucK's pretty much caught up. He's at 44 probes and 49 SCVs, so he's done a great job in that regard, and he's making a robotics base, so it's going to be Colossus on the field, and judging by the composition of YuMe right now, that
big
robotics base is going to dominate.
Big shoutouts to Jingle Sassy, by the way. Should have gone for a mass probe drop. I don't know, man. Mass hallucinated probe drop I think would be a little bit better. Actually, you know what? pucK, as much as I want to joke around, he's not in a position to joke around, though. YuMe, he did so much damage in the early game, and pucK, as we see here, still hasn't taken that probe lead.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got pretty good upgrades at this point. I believe he's got +1 down. YuMe does have +1 done, of course, but he doesn't have concussive shells, doesn't have combat shields on his Marines either, but it does look like he wants to get aggressive.
Yeah, the lack of upgrades is going to be interesting. I feel upgrades are a really big deal in this matchup. Terran players, if your opponent doesn't have armor, your Marines are going to be so effective. If they do have armor, your Marines are going to be very ineffective. It's kind of this sad difference.
But a big scan up, going to reveal the army to YuMe. Will he decide to actually push in, or is he going to just pick off and try to go for that third base? He's going to at least try to pressure the rocks at this point.
Well, he's at this point in the game where he's got a lot of medvacs. You can start trying to split pucK's forces. Like, you know, you see a lot of Terran players, they'll drop a round of Marauders in the main, hoping to take the army out in the natural when the Protoss player splits inefficiently to deal with them.
Yep, and, you know, pucK's just got the Observer out there, scouting everything as it's coming in, so he's just going to be in a defensive posture and try to see what's going on, but...
It's only one Zealot, but it's already killed 2 SCVs. The one of the natural also going to town now. The Warp Prism's going to get out of here with 20 health on it, or sorry, 26 health, just barely getting out alive. But a couple more workers killed. It's a little amount to sacrifice for 1 Zealot, 2 Zealots, so kind of worth it in the end.
Yeah, and this is drawing the ire of YuMe. His army is literally just sitting out in the front.
But the problem is his army is primarily bio. If he doesn't see this Colossus, he's got to see the Colossus now. He's going to have to start producing Vikings. And always going to focus it down. The Colossus goes down immediately. Lots of bio on the ground here. The Immortal's going to try and hold on. But here comes that reinforcing Colossus. Will it be enough? Thermal Lance is completed. He's got the range advantage on his side. And he's going to fall back into the Photon Overcharge. Beautiful force field on that ramp off, Doom.
Yeah, Photon Overcharge is really strong as well, so this is in a tough position for pucK here. Can he actually hold this off? As long as the Colossus on the high ground, though, is doing tons of damage.
Oh, but meanwhile, the army actually gets wiped out in the third, and YuMe, see, let's just push the issue, man. Take out the third. Okay, gonna go for the natural instead. Just as good, I guess.
Overcharge is scary, man. It's a scary thing to try to combat that, and he's actually gonna try to focus down there.
So
probes are gonna get pulled.
Wow, this is not looking too good here for pucK. I'm a little surprised. I thought this was going to be a pretty even match, but it's not feeling that way. There's a lot of Zealots still here on the field. More are warping in, but man, pucK, he's got more Colossi in the way he needs those Colossus to deal with this bio effectively. Now, YuMe could back up right now. He could be content with saying, look, I killed like an extra 8 or 10 workers. I got the natural. I'm going to reel back off of this. I don't know if he's been paying attention to pucK's upgrades, though. It's the really scary thing. He might not realize just how far ahead he is at the moment.
Well, he attacked right there before his +2/+2 finished with us. We just saw the +2/+2 is done now for YuMe. He's only got a handful of units, not going to wait for those reinforcements
really
to come through all the way.
Stepping, but there's so many Zealots here, and the Colossus is just... These Zealots are going to play Vanguard to the Colossus. Stalkers warping here on the high ground. Oh, man. If only that Temple Arcus was complete. Oh, the Colossus lives. Okay, it's got 18 health and 4 kills on it. Coming up to the main. Going to try and be a hero, but will most likely go down. I mean, a Viking is going to look at that thing, Doom, and it's going to die.
Yeah. You know, it does. Protoss do have that shield mechanic, but that is not looking grim for that class at this point. And the Zealots are all trying to charge through and attack this bio. I mean, here comes the class. Save the day.
He's finally cleaned this up. He was in such a rough patch there, but these medevacs are empty. And YuMe doesn't have a big rally of units. I mean, typically, how often do you see that stream of orange just constantly across the field? It's 8 Marines pop at a time, 2 Marauders at a time.
No, yeah, I mean, we saw this in the first game with Tempo, with the jitters. I mean, there's a lot riding on this matchup, on this match here, because pucK has already gained a 1-0 lead and taken that advantage away from the League of Friendship. So, I mean, YuMe's got to be feeling the pressure now at this point. He just got he doesn't even have, he does have his 3rd base up there. He's trying to make 2 additional command centers to establish a 4th and 5th base at the same time, but, you know, pucK he's falling behind in the worker count, so in that regard, this is looking pretty good for YuMe. 1,900 minerals.
Oh, certainly. Look at that supply lead, 155 to 97. Forget the probes for a second. He's got 73 SCVs on the field. Why is he not pulling SCVs with his army? Is my big question. I mean, Colossus are down, sure, but they act as fodder for a couple shots. But okay, a couple Vikings now with this army. Not enough, I fear, but there's no Stalkers on the ground, actually, to shoot the Vikings. But a big storm, 2 big storms go off, and an Archon merge immediately. But man, YuMe's going to lose all of his forces here. And that giant lead he has just evaporated in a puddle of blood, Doom.
Yeah, and that Colossus we said was going to die is still alive. I mean, despite the fact that he's being shelled by Vikings at this point.
Is that the same Colossus from earlier with 18 health? Or did this one also just get conveniently low?
No, same guy. Same exact guy. He is a mentor at this point.
Oh god, but he's got to be careful.
I mean, the 2-2, I mean, the upgrades are even, so, I mean, YuMe, if he just pull back and waits for the 3-3, maybe this is a better effort. Maybe if he establishes those 4th and 5th bases, he can actually make something happen here, but he's getting pushed back by pucK. pucK is actually doing it, Rifkin.
This is not only an insane hold, but an insane counter push here from pucK. He's not going to come across the field, but he not only deals with the push, he cleans up most of what was left in his base. Now there's only like 2 medevacs of the veteran of that war. But YuMe looks like he's taking a 4th base behind this, so he's not focusing, he's not tunnel visioning. If he gets a 4th and a 5th base up by the looks of it, he could be in a really good spot to just pump Marines and try and brute force his way to victory.
Yeah, the power of the mule cannot be over-exaggerated or under-exaggerated here. It is the best, perhaps, thing in the game when you're trying to take an economic lead over your opponent. And in terms of a macro game here, YuMe's doing pretty well. His supply is steadily climbing, but, you know, pucK's really playing the defensive game to keep himself in it here.
Now, there's
all micro at this point.
I'm going to bring something up. There's probably 2 reasons. Well, actually, hold the phone. We got a lot of Templar coming in here. Nice storm goes off once again. YuMe eating a good chunk of that, but gets out of there alive. Another storm goes down, and that's going to be it. Down the count of this Marines. Just trying to kite here what they can, but yeah, I was gonna say, like, oh my god, is he gonna lose all the medevacs, dude? This is kind of critical. He can't. These are his like last 2 medevacs. But I was gonna say, oh, okay, there we go. Last one goes up. The thing I was gonna say is YuMe, like, the one thing, if I had to give him some criticism right now, where are the drops, man? Where is your bio army advantage? If you're gonna fight on the ground with bio, you gotta split your opponent's forces, and the best way to do that is force pucK to go home with like a Colossus, a big Warpin, and just drop Marauders, Marines in the main, the natural, the third. I mean, they're all open. There's very little defenses around pucK's base.
Yeah, I mean, but that medevac count just isn't where it needs to be.
Oh, it's like 1 almost dead medevac. Now, the Viking counts, it's been picked up. He's producing 2 Vikings, 2 medevacs at a time. Not a situation you want to be in as a template, but a beautiful snipe at that 3rd base, and oh, this choke doesn't look good. Oh, will he get some storms off is the big question. No, looks like not quite, but the Colossus are doing its job there. Both of them just... Yeah, both of them doing so good versus bio.
It's really important here for YuMe to try to spread his army out. If he keeps it clumped up like this, things like the Colossus, things like the Archon, Storms, they're all going to just do compound damage against his composition.
And
without medevacs to kill, without those medevacs, you're actually screwed.
Well, hang on. There's one small caveat that makes this work. The fact that YuMe's got 5 bases and a lot of production in his main. We see now Ghost entering the field as well, which would be great at dealing with those High Templar. But he's going to get to that point where he can almost play like a Zerg player. Instead of remaxing on 50 Lings, he'll remax on 50 Marines. He's got the economy for it, that's for sure, and he's got the supply lead. I mean, before it was mostly a pretty even army, as YuMe had way more SCVs than his opponent, but pucK now with 60 probes to the 71 SCVs.
And he's adding in more medevacs as well here as YuMe, so it's just going to be one of these brute force strategies. He's got the economy, he's got the production. It's time to go, and it's time to end the game now.
You know, the thing that's blowing my mind is the fact that pucK's even in this position, because I've seen pucK single-handedly take down players like Bolt, but big storms coming down once again. Those Vikings going to town on the Colossi. They are going to get taken out by the Stalkers, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doom, YuMe's going to be pushed back one more time.
He's trying to split, but it's just not all coming together here. Too many idle units at once. They're not all focusing all on a ball, and it's just too much splash damage. That's splash damage.
Is that the same Colossus? 21 kills. It's an Executor at this point. The Colossus with the 18 health has lived through like 3 battles at this point. He's a World War veteran.
Yes, a scarred veteran indeed. The guy has won many a Purple Heart, I have to say, and he's got 2 buddies behind him too, and this is not looking good for YuMe if this push comes through.
Well, hang on, YuMe's actually pushing his back. He's got Ghosts in the army, and pucK does not want to engage on top of this. That Colossus will live to see another day. It's being focused. It looks like he'll get away, but no! Marauders at the last second take it down. What the fuck?
Well,
that was an immortal of a Colossus, if you know
he will
what
be
I mean.
remembered. Oh, I know what you mean.
It's the Phoenix of, yeah, whatever. YuMe, though, again, he's sticking with this bio clump, Doom, and I can't get behind this idea. He's pushing hard, and he's taken a lot of these engagements, but this was really back and forth when, really, he should have just been, he should have had such a big lead by now. He always had a big lead this whole game.
One of the things he hasn't done this game yet is gotten that Viking count up to that crucial mass where if a Colossus is in front of you, it's just gonna drop. I mean, if you get enough Vikings out on the field, you can pretty much
Oh, beautiful EMPs, though. It's just about everything, but he loses the Ghost for them. Storms are still coming in through. The Archons don't have a lot of shields, but YuMe, yeah, gonna turn this around one more time. That is, pucK is on 4 bases now. Like, this is what's driving me nuts. pucK should have been shut down. Like, every step of the game, YuMe's been doing damage to him consistently and constantly, but somehow, through the magic of ire, pucK has been holding on to each of these advances.
Well, Storm is pretty good, man, and Protoss with the shield mechanism is just able to be really cost efficient with the units.
I want to point this out too. YuMe has actually made the active decision to forego weapon upgrades and get armor upgrades. This is not only going to benefit his medevacs, but it'll make the Stalkers take a lot longer to kill the Vikings, allowing them to perhaps get that extra volley off required to kill a Colossus.
That's pretty crucial here. Both players reaching pretty much the max upgrades they can actually have in the game. So we're getting to the end stages of StarCraft 2 here, Rifkin.
Yeah, this is coming up in almost 30 minutes, and this is... I can't believe this game still isn't over. pucK has got 3-3. YuMe's got 3-3. He's going for high-sec auto-tracking and the building plating, so I guess he wants to start putting in some planetary fortresses. Fortress-I? Fortress-N.
Take all precautions here. There's a lot on the line. The loser of this series goes to Tribal Council, and YuMe's got to build a little bit of rapport in the game here.
Yeah,
just remember, winning this could really, buy him a lot of points for his team.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna chase off these Colossi one more time. This Marauder push is so big, but so's that Storm, dude. Coming in from the side.
He's got to split his units.
Well, you know what?
He's killing the Colossus at least.
You know, the concussive shell is playing such a big role here. None of these Zealots can really take the advance, and the Archons, while not affected by it, still take a lot of damage beyond the front lines. But, man, oh man, Big Storm's going down again. YuMe's army's so crippled. He's only got one medevac to heal all of this, but pucK has no ground forces. Look at his bank. He can warp in 10 Zealots right now. Where are the warp-ins, pucK? Where are those reinforcements? A Dark Shrine is on the way, but is it going to be enough?
I don't know, crazy enough here, pucK's actually in a work advantage.
And they're actually they're equalizing army supply once again. I don't understand. So much of this comes down to the lack of medevacs from YuMe's have.
I mean, pucK's at 2,100 minerals a minute, so I mean, this is getting pretty crazy in YuMe.
pucK is not impressed with that statement. Don't know if it's BM or genuine, like, I can't end this game, what's wrong with me, but...
He's got to be pretty disappointed in himself after these failed pushes over and over, but pucK is just really doing well in terms of his unit control, so we got to give him props in that regard, but we got to see more medevacs out of him. He's making 4 at a time now. We need like 6 starports on the field for this guy to keep his medevacs up.
For the first time in 29 minutes and 55 seconds, pucK finally has the worker lead. 73 probes to 65 SCVs.
Yeah, man, but those mules are strong. 3,100, 34, 3,700 minerals a minute here for YuMe from the power of Mule.
Yeah, mules are pretty cool. He's even taking another base down here to the south, a little bit bold here. Resources lost, looking very bad here for YuMe, but again, he can throw away these units. He can afford to make these mistakes.
Yeah, he's had complete knock control the entire game, which, started with the Reapers and just compounded over itself once those Hellions killed.
Oh, some Dark Templar on the field, Doom. And
yeah, this could actually bring pucK back.
The Ghosts are also cloaked, though. One observer's all that's with the army. If this gets picked off, the Ghost will go on.
Oh my god.
He loses all the Ghosts! What is happening? YuMe, you're throwing your units away. Ghosts are not tanking units. That's what the Marauders are for.
Lots of observers. It says at the benefit of pucK there in that situation, but Big Scan going to go down and kill both of the observers in the vicinity.
Well, there's only one Ghost on the field, though, so the lack of observers isn't that scary, but pucK doesn't have a lot of the field right now. This could be it, man. There's a Zealot attack at the top right while this is going on, a Dark Templar attack, rather, but, I mean, the Marauders just kiting the army. Zealots actually doing critical with no damage, and he can turn this around on the Colossus if he wants to, but, oh, not with the medevacs go down. Oh, man. Talk about action this game. YuMe, how have you not ended this game? Well, you know what? I say that as a bit of a joke. I'm a Terran player. I know this feel. I've been in this situation. You gotta get up to that perfect number of Ghosts and Vikings if you truly want to just roll over your opponent. Marines and Marauders, it's kind of like roaches. They're the mid-game unit you want to have at all points of the game, of course, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're good at all points of the game. Yeah,
you got to get that crucial mass of Ghosts and Vikings. And YuMe's...
Is YuMe going to tap out here? Oh, man.
I sure do hope not. I mean, he's got that big supply lead despite having that worker, disparagement. But that means his army supply is much larger, Rifkin. And this is the point for Terrans is in the late game. Throw away your SCVs and have mules to be your economy here. But
oh my god.
More Dark Templar are coming in, man.
When you've got like 9 orbitals on the field, that's exactly what you want to do. You only really need gas mining SCVs. Mules will carry the rest, but... All right, there's a couple cannons coming in. We'll see if it's enough. The Vikings, of course, are numerous enough to deal with the Colossi. There's not a lot of them, though. There's 3 Templar in the back are trying to avoid. Well, the Ghosts can't quite get those EMPs off, but the Observer is sniped.
Big point here to make, and other Storms left here. Big Storm's gonna go down.
Vikings are taking care of the Colossi, though, dude. There's not enough stock. He's gonna deal with the Vikings. Colossus on the back burner. Last couple units of pucK on the field. This could be the final game-deciding battle, although we've had 7 of those up to this point. pucK is still barely hanging on at this point.
Yeah, pucK's got to defend his base here, but he's just going to blink out the Stalkers and evacuate. Definitely pretty much the only move available to him.
Actually kind of a critical loss. pucK's only really got that 4th and the 3rd base mining at this point. Main and the Naturals are going to be mined out by now, and this is an economic loss you couldn't afford to take.
There's also a Widow Mine to the north here, preventing him from taking that northernmost base. So in this regard, pucK's a little shut down. He's got that 1 Colossus on the field, but it just feels like this might snowball out of control here. Well, not snowball out of control, but it might just end in a moment if YuMe just gets his units together, splits them up, and goes for the victory.
I'm still pining for like that SCV pull just to like end the game. He's been struggling at this so much, but pucK once again, with these mediocre-sized armies, has been holding off the advances. The second he can finally take a supply lead, maybe, just maybe, he can turn this game around. He's still got an amazing, like, every storm this game has been good.
He's making 2 Colossus at a time, and he's still warping in High Templar, so he's not giving up.
He's coming up with +3 air weapons. He's producing 3 Vikings at a time. He's got to rely on Templar more than Colossi, I feel, at this point.
He's also maxed out, so that's going to make a huge difference here. Just sacrificing SCVs, pucK taking any kills he can get. But he's actually drawn his army into somewhat of a corner here, and that's got to trigger YuMe to think, okay, I've seen the Nexus. I know that this is pretty much the only position where pucK's going to be able to beat me.
Command Center trying to land in the Nexus there. I just want to point that out. Kind of a funny thing to see. But pucK says cancel it, says I know I can't defend this base. We'll retreat one more time. And if that, honestly, if that Widow Mine wasn't in the north and pucK could secure another base, this might be a completely different game, but pucK is being seriously choked out. Look at his bank. It's non-existent. As he gets resources, he spends them. YuMe maxed out right now, has a pretty healthy bank. And that probe, going to try and take the Nexus, but the Widow Mine will shut it down once again.
Brutal.
I think brutal
Absolutely
is an understatement, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Colossus spread out nicely here.
Ghost coming forward. Oh, they EMP everything! A couple of Templars still have energy enough to storm, though. pucK's got a lot of Colossi and a lot of storms available.
Disengagement from YuMe looks like it might be too much, though. The Vikings are not untouched.
But if the Vikings land at this point, pucK's just going to leave.
Yep.
That's it. All right, so YuMe knocks out pucK. Not something I would have seen coming, but okay.
Impressive play there from YuMe. It feels like once the Hellions got sad, they had their piece. With the 18 kills, that was just pretty much enough to take pucK out of the game, and you know, he just had a little bit of trouble getting his army into the base to destroy pucK, but no harm, no foul. 4 times the charm, and YuMe got it done for his team here.